Vivan Costis!
Hi, heroes. This is Stan Lee coming at you. In other words, Excelsior.
Answer the question! David, you must answer the question!
Excuse me, I'm looking for some guy named Stan Lee.
What? Spider-Man? Pam, hold my calls for a while. I think I've finally gone crazy. You know, Spidey, I've always wanted to experience real web-slinging.
And I've always wanted to be appreciated as a real hero. It seems you've made me into one. Thanks.
Hey. You were looking at that couple inside?
Actually, I was just looking at this little pink number over here.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of nice. They look happy, don't they? You know, it reminds me of an issue of Spider-Man I did when Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy went lingerie shopping. Of course, the Green Goblin showed up, and he pumpkin-bombed the hell out of the place. But aside from that, it's pretty much the same thing.
Oh my God! Holy shit! Aren't you?
Stan Lee, the publisher of Marvel Comics, has probably been in the comic book business longer than anybody on Earth. He claims that Guinness is going to put him in the book of records, but that's not really true, is it?
Well, they very well might. You know, as I had mentioned earlier, I think that I've probably written more stories that have been published than anybody who's ever lived. Not necessarily better stories, but certainly more stories.
Good morning, Dr. Krensler. Security ought to be beefed up a lot more in a place like this. Welcome back to the Baxter, Dr. Richards. I've got the usual for you. Good to have you back, sir.
Thanks, Willie.
I was tired of living with sergeants and corporals and privates. I wanted to live with a girl. And so I started looking around for a girl to marry, and I found it's not that easy, really. There are a lot of girls, but you got to find the right one. And then somebody told me that there was a nice girl working at a model agency, and I should go up and try to meet her. I could mention his name. He told me her name. He said, go up and ask for her and say I told, blah, blah, blah. So I went up to the model agency, and I walked up to the desk where the greeter was, and there was this vision standing at the desk who said, may I help you, with a voice that was music, and a figure that was indescribable, and a face that you couldn't believe. And I said, I love you. And her name was Joan, and I took Joni to lunch, and then we got married. It was a good lunch. You know, I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said.
Invitation, sir.
I should be on that list.
Name?
Stan Lee.
Yeah, nice try, buddy.
No,
Nice
no,
try.
really,
Nice
I'm
try.
Stan Lee.
Hey, Tony. Remember me?
Sure don't. Look great, Hef.
Possible gamma sickness. Milwaukee. A man drank one of those Guarana sodas. Guess it had a little more kick than he was looking for.
Wow.
Where was it bottled?
Puerto Verde.
Larry. Hey, the Oracle of Oracle. What a pleasure. Nice to see you.
Larry King.
Larry! Oh.
Did it work?
The Marvel movies are the biggest money-making movies of all. And, you know, it's funny. I keep thinking DC could probably make a lot more money with Superman and Batman if they announced that I'd have a cameo in one. People wouldn't believe it. They'd have to go to the theater and see.
Captain, that's your cue.
I thought he'd be taller. Superheroes in New York? Give me a break.
This is probably nothing.
Are your pulses pounding? Can you feel its eyes upon you? The dweller in the dark is watching.
Relax, Harry. It's just Stan.
And all the other worlds would just pass us by. It's beautiful. It's simple. Any questions?
Yeah, can I have my shoe back?
All Mom ever wanted was your love. To be with you at our two-story Victorian home in the Cotswolds. But could you even give her a moment? What with your banking job requiring you to travel to the States from Tuesday to Saturday every other week? No!
I'm terribly sorry about your loss, dear. As for you, now is your chance to do better. Why don't you see that you take it?
Thank you, sir.
Let's go.
Wear that?
No. If you're gonna fight a war, you gotta wear a uniform.
Oh, man. I am so fired.
I said in the intro, 50 years you've been working in...
Give or take a couple of weeks.
All right, give or take a few weeks. That's not important. But for 50 years you've been working in comic book. Is that possible? I mean, did you do anything before
I don't think so. I had other jobs before that. I mean, don't think I only worked in comics.
Uh-huh.
When I was in high school, I freelanced and I wrote obituaries for people who were still alive. And you know
that's a really good use of your time, Stan.
You know, when a celebrity dies, about 15 minutes later, the newspaper comes out and there are 3 pages of write-ups about him, and you wonder, how did they write it that fast? It's all there in advance.
Exactly.
And that's how you know you're famous. I would love to think somewhere, my obituary, you know, is in a file somewhere. Then I'd know I made it. I don't want to see it too soon, but that's okay.
So it's written way ahead. I know you've coming up. The big rivalry is between Marvel Comics and DC Comics.
Oh, you're giving it away.
No, it's true. Well, coming up soon, you guys are going to have the Marvel characters fight the DC characters, correct?
We refer to it as the mighty Marvel universe versus the DC heroes. And
It's not cool to get help. Walk by yourself, you little gargoyle. Look at Mr. Smiles over here.
you like art.
Where's your wife, old man? What a Class A prevert.
Fred.
Son, Dad. I wear 'em front. I wear 'em back. I go inside out. Then I go front and back.
Dad!
Alexis Ortiz. Mo Parisi. Peter Parker.
I think I know that guy.
No. See, this was aged for 1,000 years. And the barrel's built from the wreck of Grunhill's fleet. It is not meant for mortal men.
Neither was Omaha Beach, Blondie. Stop trying to scare us. Come on.
All right.
Excelsior. When I used to read comics when I was young, I used to feel that the characters weren't believable, they weren't realistic, because they never had any problems. Their only problem was, how can I catch the bad guy? How can I beat the villain? But I used to think to myself, what about their personal life? What kind of people are they? What do they do when they're not chasing the villain? How do they make their money? Are they successful with members of the other sex? What about their family? Where do they live? And so forth. So I made up my mind, if I do any superhero characters, or indeed any characters, I would like to make them three-dimensional so that the reader can see what kind of lives they live, can see what kind of people they really are, and also can see what problems they have, because we all have problems. Hey, could I borrow the sports section? Thank you.
Fine, right? The bartenders are all like, yeah, crazy stupid fine.
Coming onto our stage right now, give it up for Chastity.
You okay?
Are you Tony Stank?
Yes, this is Tony Stank.
Tomorrow at New York's Shea Stadium, Spider-Man and Mary Jane will finally get married. And we have the privilege of joining them this morning at a prenuptial gathering at Shea Stadium. There's the lovely couple. They're there with Stan Lee, who not only created these two, but also the Incredible Hulk, Doctor Strange, and many, many more comic legends. Mr. Lee will officiate at the wedding tomorrow. Stan, Spider-Man's been with us for, what, some 25 years now. He's been crazy about Mary Jane for many, many years, too. Why did you decide now that they should get married?
Oh, just look at this couple. How could you keep them apart longer than 25 years?
What about you, Spidey? How do you feel about getting married now? Why did you decide at this point to marry MJ?
Well, actually, I'm a little nervous. I was up pacing the ceiling last night, but no, it's time. I'm in love, and it's going to be happily ever after. I can guarantee that. Right, Stan?
Well, I don't know. I haven't written that part yet.
That is hilarious.
Okay.
Wow, nice suit.
Zip it, Stanley!
Oh, man. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, at that time, I was a Federal Express man. Hey, fellas. Hey, wait, where are you going? Hey, you were supposed to be my lift home. How will I get out of here? Hey, gee, I've got so many more stories to tell. Guys. Oh, gee. They're the greatest stories ever told. Heroes show us we don't need to be perfect to do what's right. It's not about living without fear, but facing injustice. It's not about being powerful, but finding your calling when you least expect it. They show us it's okay to be vulnerable, no matter how tough you are. Because even though they're heroes, they're still human. There was a time about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago when DC Comics asked me, they wanted to do a series of books called What If Stan Lee Had Created the DC Universe, or something like that. And they asked me to write Superman, Batman, the Wonder Woman, the Green Lantern, and I don't know, 10 or 12 of their books, as if I had created them. So I changed all of them around. I made Batman a black man. I made the Flash a female. I just for fun, just to make them different. I really enjoy doing it.
Every day with these damn alarms. Shut it off.
Don't make me come down there, you punk.
Hey, Gary, how you doing?
Marjorie, how are you? How's your mother? Now don't you move. My hands aren't as steady as they used to be.
By Odin's beard, you shall not cut my hair, lest you feel the wrath of the mighty Thor. Please, kind sir, do not cut my hair. No! No!
Claude is leaving out that door with me. You've been warned.
3 crabs.
Hey, you won.
You know what? I think I'll just take these, bring them over here, and hold on for safekeeping.
Okay, heads up. The king of Wakanda is here. He cannot leave with Claw.
What's the matter with you kids? You never seen a spaceship before?
Vikes, it's all you.
Take the wheel.
Well, the 60s were fun, but now I'm paying for it. Love seeing you two together again. You always were my favorites. Hey, don't give up on her. Either of you.
Who on? Who's that guy? Okay. Wait, this thing looks delicious.
Want you to know, Marvel has always been and always will be a reflection of the world right outside our window.